We've got St. Charles County Councilman Joe Brazil on with us. Yeah, you can pop your headphones on. You don't have to.
He is
now,
the man, the
he
myth,
is
the
local
legend.
in the St. Louis area, but the stories that they have at their council meeting tonight, these are national stories. I don't care where you're listening. You could be in St. Louis County. You could be in Jefferson County. You could be in Miami-Dade County. These are things that are going on. Joe, give us a headline of tonight. You can't. I bet 3 years ago, 4 years ago, you'd never think you'd be talking about some of these issues that you're bringing up right now that are going on tonight.
No, you can't make this stuff up. It's unbelievable. The woke crowd is just losing their mind. They're trying to throw so many distractions. And I guess they believe in all this crazy nonsense, communist stuff. But so what was going on, you got the St. Charles County Library. Okay, there's 9 members. 5 are appointed by St. Charles County, by the county executive, and approved by the county council. 4 are approved by the mayor Borgmeyer and then approved by their city council. So we have 9 boards. This board has become so crazy woke, it's unbelievable. Some of the stuff that they're doing. There's a guy named Jason Cole who's a CEO who was fired from his last position or removed from his last position for pushing these woke narratives, this political agenda. And so what they have is they have this gentleman who's working as a transgender at the library, and he reads to children's and stuff and does story time and stuff, and he wears a dress. He wears fishnet stockings and stilettos, and he has a beard. And so, look, if you're dressing as a woman and you're a man, it's a mental disorder. Let's not call it anything else. And so what we're asking is we have a resolution tonight on the floor that is requesting that the board, that they uphold their dress policy. And that's all. You have
What's a dress policy, Joe?
Like you can't wear, if you or I went to work at a library in a Speedo, or if we went to dress with just inappropriately, it should be gender specific without short skirts and fishnet stockings.
Is that a library? Is that a library dress code right now?
They have a code. They have a code that just requires the dress of, it's like business attire and stuff like that. Now, is it specific enough? Probably not. But it just takes a little bit of common sense.
Correct.
No, you're in a common sense room. But I'm thinking about the sides and people that are not common sense. They'll come after you, where they'll try to tear apart what you're trying to do, Joe.
They're going to try to tear it apart, but the resolution goes on to say multiple things. What it's saying is the library should be apolitical, should not be pushing a political agenda whatsoever. Even if it was conservative, we can't be pushing conservative agendas. It's not that. It's for reading books and teaching kids what to do. And that's it. And then it goes on to say that we want them to defund the library. There's a far left-wing urban library council there's only the liberal cities are in this library council. And our county put $10,000 towards this urban library council, where we ask them to defund that and be removed from that as well. And then it also talks about, do you know that during COVID and still today that our libraries are closed on Sundays?
That's crazy.
I had no idea.
Yeah,
they're closed on Sundays. And do you know that they pay people at the library $12 an hour? And so there's people, which other people don't understand, is we're getting anonymous letters from workers that are saying how dysfunctional it is, how they mistreat their employees, how they underpay them. You got to pay people the right amount. And so the library is so dysfunctional and run so poorly. And there's one or two somewhat conservative. One of the guys, Matthew Seed's on the board, he made a motion to remove this council. He didn't even get a second from the other 8 members, not even a second to remove this political stuff. And so we're asking them to follow the dress codes, follow the rules, and be apolitical. Now, keep in mind,
or
Vic,
fire the person.
It says in here we can't request them to be fired, but we'll request the board to take action, which means fire the guy. But we can't make those. All the resolution is a recommendation. It is not. We can't tell them what to do. Now, keep in mind, there's 3 to 4 members their time's expiring here in the next month or so, and so we will be making reappointments
for people who live in that area. And when you talk to, you can also look in your the camera straight ahead if you need to make comments to people. Where is this exact library?
No, this is the library district. So there's multiple libraries throughout St. Charles County.
So this person can go anywhere.
If they appointed him, where he's an employee of the library. But let's keep in mind, it's not about this person. It's not, if you want to be a transgender or whatever, that's fine. I don't care. But you can't be promoting and pushing that narrative on our kids.
Correct.
We don't want that. And that's what it's about.
Kids. I get that.
And so quit with that nonsense. Be professional. I have a dress code for the company I work for. I can't wear Cubs hats or Cardinals hats. I have to wear everything attired, collar shirts. Everyone has dress codes. And it's not strange to think that's required.
That's not strange.
Yeah. And so tonight we're having this resolution on the floor, and it's going to I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. Your phone was going off. That's all right.
That's because Joe is very popular, especially
So you got that-
today.
So you
I'm
got,
sure his
so
phone
you
is
have
blowing
that on.
up.
What else is going on tonight?
Oh, so tonight also we have a lot of stuff going on. The other thing that's going on tonight is we have something on growth. Our growth issue really important in our county. But what else is important is Senate Bill 190. We're familiar with that. It was passed by the state reps. It was passed by the Senate and signed by the governor. Now, the MAC, the Missouri Association of Counties, had a July conference call with 275 county commissioners in the state of Missouri, giving them all the talking points why this is not a good thing to pass. Now, what they're doing is it's just talking points because every county doesn't want their money to be gone. That's what they're assuming.
Right.
But what this is now, keep in mind, we are supposedly a Republican county, right? If you watch council meetings, probably 4 of our county councilmen are absolute Democrats, no question about it. They just run as Republicans because that's the only way they're going to get elected in our county.
That's happening around the country, though, too.
Absolutely.
It's happening and if it's
everywhere.
happening here, it's happening everywhere.
So when this was passed, Tim Baker's a newly elected county council member. Him and I are the conservative ones on the board, and he's a good guy, and he sticks up for what's right. So I sent an email to our county councilor and asked him to draft an ordinance to put it on the ballot. It has to go on the ballot to be voted on by the people. So then they rejected that. They said, we need to have a conversation. So Mike Elam and Steve Ellman were meeting with county council members behind the scenes trying to talk them out of doing any kind of action. So then I requested multiple times, if it's so bad, then let's have open conversations on the pros and cons of if it's so bad, then give us the reasons and let's have an open dialogue about it. Right, Lizzie?
Yes.
You want to have a conversation.
Yes.
They refused. And then after several months, it's on the agenda tonight to talk about this from a 6 to 7 o'clock workshop on why it's bad. But here's the talking points they're using. They're saying that, oh, Vic, it's too vague. The bill that was signed by the senator or by the governor and the Senate and them, it's too vague. Let's keep in mind, there's 143 counties in the state of Missouri. It was written to be vague so each county can draft the ballot language to fit their county. That's why it was vague. That's the reason it was vague. And the other excuse is what our county council is using, is that it doesn't give us the authority to take away taxes from other entities. Yes, it does. It was signed by the governor, it was signed by the Senate, and signed by the state. It's a law. Yes, we can.
What time does the meeting start tonight?
6 o'clock.
Okay.
And so
where is
listen,
it
keep
at?
this in mind. St. Charles County Council Chambers. Keep in mind, all this other stuff, they're saying we're losing money. No, what this does is at the age of 62, it freezes your tax on real estate. So what does that mean, Vic? You don't lose money. You just don't get money that you might have an opportunity to get down in the future. You're not losing money. So that's a false talking point.
This seems like this should work and be done and pushed through in a heartbeat.
From
your perspective, I don't have somebody arguing against you right now, but from what you've said, this is a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer. It's an absolute no-brainer. But it's just all these. So they had this attorney, that Brinker, get on there and give all the talking points for these county commissioners to have reasons why they can't do it. It doesn't make any sense.
Eric Johnson isn't with us today, but he is a host on the show. Joe, call him out. Call the 4 people since you brought it up by name. Who are the wolves in sheep's clothing?
And Eric is one of our hosts. He's just not here today, but he would like you to call him out.
Do you feel comfortable doing that?
Oh, yeah. I put it this way. Is Tim Baker and Joe Me is the ones who wanted to have the work session. We were getting tons of pushback. So you have Mike Elam, you have Terry Hollander, you have Nancy Schneider, and you have Matt Swanson that are not on board at this point. I'm not saying after tonight's meeting they won't be on board, but they haven't been on board thus far.
Hey, buddy, what else do you have? I think you have one more topic you want to jump into before we get to Michael Les.
In Southwest St. Charles County, we have major growth issues. We have a 3 and 5 acre minimum where there's no infrastructure, sewers, and whatnot. And we have a master plan, and people move out there, they build nice homes on their 3 and 5 acre lots, and that's what people's expectations are in the rural area, in the wine district. Now, our wine district is the oldest wine district in the United States, okay? There's 67 wineries from St. Charles to Herman. So we value all that. And the rural area of our county is important to our county. You have to have balance like that. Mm-hmm. So what they're trying to do is the developers trying to push through and break our 3 acre and 5 acre covenants and start cramming 4 and 5 homes an acre in. And so what's bad about that, you just talk about these 15-minute cities, Vic. It's so similar to trying to cram all these people in. They're overloading the infrastructure, the schools, everything. And so Steve Ellman gets up there and talks about why this is good to do this. And so Duckett Creek built a sewer plant they're building a sewer plant on Hopewell Road. And they said, just because there's a sewer plant, that's supposed to consume 18,000 acres. look, I don't care about Duckett Creek Sur Plant because they don't dictate the zoning in our county. And so they're not going to force all these homes out there. You know how it is out there.
I do.
Out in New Melle, Augusta, Defiance are the expectations of people. They love their American culture, their farm culture. And we don't want all these houses out there.
Correct.
And the city of O'Fallon is constantly trying to annex and cram houses. They do it. They tried to annex Bush's Wildlife years ago. It's an overexplosion of growth and urbanism. And so we don't want that in this county. We don't want to be anything like St. Louis County.
Correct. That's why we all moved out here.
That's
why we moved out here.
That's why we moved out here.
They crammed a subdivision behind us, and people are on top of each other.
Exactly. All these municipal aldermen run for office, and they come from, most of them from North County. I came from North County, but I'm a country guy. I don't want all this house out here and these houses and 7,000 square foot lots and all this craziness. And I will show you the numbers. If you run the numbers on a 300, 600, 900,000 square house, of $900,000 house, the taxes on that house is going to be $13,000 on all entities. You know how much it costs to put a kid in school in Winsfield or Francis Howard? $17,000 a year. It's income distribution in every fashion. There's no question about it. And the apartments, one more topic, the apartments in our county has been up 200% in growth. Did you know that?
Yes, I 200%.
did. I'm so
200% in growth from what time period?
2 years.
2 years.
2 years. 200%. And do you know half of these aren't even full yet? So we don't know the strain of the infrastructure.
Correct.
And do you also know that 33 of them thus far are government subsidized? And do you also know that what they do is they build these apartments and then they get them full, and then the businessman refinances them as a business, and then he goes for a tax abatements to make them federally subsidized. So the municipalities have zero control over these being government subsidized.
Correct.
Now, in my view, when you're having all these apartments, you are changing the face of the county. You're filling them with Democrat voters. And why would the federal government give us $20 million for HUD for the last 2 years? Why would they do that? They've never done that before. You don't think that's a plan?
Yeah, I think it's 100%.
Lisa says after spending 3 days in Colorado Springs and Denver recently, you see how the bad urban sprawl is, especially, she said, she saw in Denver and Colorado Springs. She says it's a huge drain on natural resources as well, not to mention what's happening in the St. Louis area or St. Charles County specifically.
It's a huge strain, and it does not use, some of these folks, we need people to build houses for tax revenue. That is a false narrative. It's a race to zero. It doesn't work. And nobody out here, if you guys notice, Highway 40 is jammed all the way like by Lake St. Louis all the way to 70. It's a disaster. Our traffic is horrible. We have bridges on DD that were built in the 50s that are cracking and rusting, and they're rated a 0 by MoDOT, and they want to throw 5,000 more cars a day on Highway DD. Are you serious? They don't build the roads first. They put all the houses and then they build a road. Well, who suffers for all that bullshit? We do.
St. Charles County has done things amazingly well over the last 10 years, probably even before that, in a variety of ways. So we credit you and everybody else who has done that. A lot of people on this show like Steve Hellman and feel like he's done a good job too. But there are some things going on in St. Charles County these days that should certainly, as you brought up, make people think twice.
Yeah, absolutely. St. Charles is a great community. The people here are great. We don't need governance in this county. You know what I mean by that? We're good people. You don't need someone breathing over you and telling you what to do and controlling every aspect of your life. But we have good people in our county, but a lot of them are left to moderate at
and
best.
People don't understand that, Joe. They really don't. They think because they have that R behind their name, they are right-leaning. And if any time we saw that they weren't, it was during the shutdown. We understood that. I'm thankful that they kept us open, but they put rules there that surprised me.
I know. The hardest thing, though, Joe, and Lizzie and I talk about this a lot, is in government, you have to work with people on the other side at some points, right? Is that true or not?
Not really.
I love it.
Not as based on principle, no.
But you never would have thought that if you're on the same side that you'd have as many problems within your own party as we've seen happen in Missouri.
That's what I'm surprised about.
Not only at our state Senate level, but at the St. Charles County Council level just in the last 2 years.
You guys have no idea. You're 100% right. You wouldn't believe some of the arguments me and Elman had. Unbelievable. With our liberal county council members, they would put a thermometer on your head at council meetings and then put a red sticker on your shirt. Vic, I want nuts. I said, don't you ever put that thing on my head again. And I never wore a mask to one council meeting. I'm not doing it. And I said, what is this, Nazi Germany, where you put a star on someone's shoulder?
And Joe maybe does doesn't even know this, but early on, when this first happened, I wanted to come to one of you guys' closed meeting, came there with my camera and my live feed, and I was kicked out by Steve Ellman.
Wow.
Yeah.
It is. Hey, bud, thanks for dropping by today to let us know what's going on. Hey, please let me know tonight or tomorrow what happens at the meeting tonight.
I will. I'll call in if you want me to. Just let me know. Yeah.
We can also, we'll do an update since we brought you in from that standpoint. I know you're busy. When you're done, because you haven't been inside the studio before, you can just get up and walk off too. So
I always appreciate you guys holler at me anytime. I am the go-to conservative guy in St. Charles County. I'm going to the Michael and Dell event tomorrow.
Where's the event at?
Yeah, in Springfield. It's a national event about election integrity and crime, cyber crime, trying to figure it out. So it's a national conference in Springfield. It's going to be a blast.
That's great.
I'll fill you in on that if you want to know about that. I'll be back on
Keep me posted,
Thursday.
buddy. I appreciate it.
Thank you guys so much.
Joe Brazil, Charles County Councilman, give us an update on some things that are going on tonight.